Good morning. Welcome to Hiring Moment Mastermind. We are delighted to have you here, and we are also delighted that half of the people on this call have landed jobs are going to be sharing their story. And so we've got a really small crowd, but we're here to help. So Carolyn, do you want to share a little bit about your journey and give a little bit of encouragement to folks?
Well, sure. I'm happy to share my journey. It was only 11 years and 3 months. So, it was a short little blip in time. Just joking, of course. I stepped back to raise my kids. And so I have this huge gap on my resume. And I really leaned into my job search about 2 years ago. And it took me quite a while to get to sort of the polished product that I feel like I am now, because I've been coming to Shira's meetings and the meetings at CNM and other places, and it has really helped. But where Shira's instructions came in the handiest for me was when I was negotiating my salary. And many of you probably saw her blog, I guess. What would you call it? Your email burst out.
Oh, I have a newsletter. A
newsletter that you sent out just this week.
Mm-hmm.
That talked about this very topic of how you phrase your salary range. And so in my phone interview, the very first conversation I had with my now employer, and I know that several of you have heard this story before, so I won't bore you with all the gory details, but she said, "So what is your salary expectation?" And I said, without blinking an eye, that I was in the mid $100,000 cash compensation range. And she kind of took a beat and said, "Well, we were planning on offering kind of a lower salary in the range of about 115 to 125. And this is where I was just amazed with the words that came out of my mouth. But I said, that's not a problem. We're close enough to keep the conversation going. And I'm pretty sure I'm going to make the case for my salary ask during this interview. So I'd like to keep talking to you if that's okay." And then it just went on from there. And I had kind of a whirlwind interview later on that day with the hiring manager and her government affairs team. And the reason it was so fast is because the hiring manager was getting ready to leave that afternoon on a plane to go on vacation. And she was going to be completely out of contact. And she just wanted to get this done. And so that was to my advantage, I strongly suspect. And so I did the interviews, and the next day the offer came in, and the recruiter said, and I quote, "Because you made such a strong case for your salary and because of your education and experience, we're going to offer you a number very close to what I said, just a sly bit under it." And I was doing such a happy dance on the phone. I couldn't contain myself, because I was convinced that I was going to have to take a real salary dip after being out of the workplace for so long. And I came in only about $5,000 under where I left when I left 11 years ago.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's so great.
So take Shira's words and use them. They help.
Yeah.
Always negotiate high. You can always go lower, but you can't
and
go
to
up.
not hide the punchline. I'm sorry. I'm going to be at SHRM, the Society for Human Resource Management, and I'm going to be their lead advisor and federal lobbyist. So I'm going to be SHRM's face on Capitol Hill for all the legislation that they care about.
Yeah. Great position.
Amazing.
Important position. Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
And maybe they decided they needed a seasoned kind of older person to talk about HR issues seriously. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, you can be our voice for age discrimination now, Carolyn.
There we go.
And make sure to connect with Mike Aiken, who I think is still there. He used to be their lobbyist, so you'll probably hear that. He can. I'm sure he'll give you some advice.
I will. Thank you.
Yeah, Aitken is his last name.
Okay.
Yeah, I think he has just a different job there now.
Okay, great. Thanks.
Yeah, you're welcome. All right, Dia.
I think my story might be slightly longer. I'll try to keep it short, but there's some interesting nuggets in it. Basically, our company decided to, the company I was previous with decided to downsize. And they rolled out the voluntary severance packages in January. And I cried over this for about 6 weeks because I didn't want to do it. I didn't want to leave. I was in a very comfortable place, but I screwed up the courage. I said, okay, I'm not going to be happy staying with the new structure, and it's probably best to leave. I have enough confidence in my abilities that I can leave. And so I started my job search half-heartedly in February, and then I started really kicking into it in May. On May 8th, I applied to a company, and I networked my way into another company as of interview, and I actually got an offer for them. At the same time, the company that I had applied for on May 8th had come back and contacted me for interviews. So company number 2 I actually found on LinkedIn, and I applied for a job on their website using all the resume skills that you taught, that all of you have amazingly taught us. But I couldn't network my way in because I didn't know anybody who knew someone there. Or my connections to the people I did know weren't strong enough for me to get in, and I didn't know where to go with it. So the networking end just wasn't an option for company number 2. So on June 9th, I got an email asking me to do recorded videos for the company number 2. And thank God it was the ones where you can re-record to your heart's content because I needed that. So I spent about 3 hours doing what should have taken about 30 minutes. After that all happened, I completely forgot about it. 3 weeks later, I get a call or an email from the hiring manager asking to do a in-face. At that point, I did a live video with her. And then I told her about company number 1 because Shira had advised that I needed to be honest. So I was, because the day that I got the interview with the hiring manager at company number 2, I received an offer from company number 1. And I know this is getting confusing, trying to keep it straight. But anyway, company number 2 fast-tracked the interviews for me. At Shira's advice was declined. They said they had selected somebody else. So by this point, I had also turned down job offer number 1. I thought number 2, I stood a good chance of it. And job number 1, there were just too many red flags for me. So full of disappointment, I sent an email to the hiring manager at company number 2 later in the day after she had called me to tell me I didn't get the job. And these are my words. I wrote this to Shira. I said, I appreciate you taking the time to call me this morning instead of sending an email. I hope the other candidate realizes how fortunate they will be to work with such a thoughtful manager and an amazing team. If things don't work out, I hope that you would again seriously consider me. I really think I could knock it out of the park with the job responsibilities and exceed your expectations. Thank you. And then I went back to the grindstone. Fast forward 7 weeks, I get a phone call from the hiring manager asking me if I'm still interested. I'm like, shoot, yeah. So the weird part about it was I didn't even know what the salary was going to be until I got the formal offer. And at that point, I wasn't comfortable negotiating anything higher, but they did offer 2 weeks vacation. And that's where I stepped in on my book. I've been getting 3 weeks for the last 5 years, and I don't want to step back. They gave that to me with no problem. So, and then at the same time, all of this is going on with company number 2, I also started a freelance gig with another company. And by day 3 of working with them, they were offering me a full-time position as well. So, so I'm very blessed. I know that. But the thing about the freelance gig was it's not doing my dream job. In company number 2, that is my dream job, my dream title, dream location. So I get the feeling they're going to have to drag me out kicking and screaming one day when it's my time to go. So everything you guys taught was amazing. I mean, I learned so much. I found out about you through a friend earlier in the year, and I started prepping myself early on when I knew that I was going to be losing my job at the end of July. So that's my story, sticking to it.
That's a blessing.
So thank you.
Carolyn, you're on mute.
So tell us, who is company number 2 that you accepted?
It's a property and casualty insurance company. It's actually, I don't want it to get out right now because I just want all my ducks in a row, paperwork signed and show up first day. But anyway, they're a pretty big company and they're like within 5 miles of my house. So my freelance gig is 32 miles away. So it was another good reason to take the local.
That's great. That's
Yeah.
great. Well, such
I
a
think
blessing.
I think one of the things that sticks out for me, Dia, in that whole scenario is again the timing, the lags, the back and forth. It's just, I mean, it's so unpredictable as you go through the job search, which is from the job seeker standpoint, that just drives you nuts. But good for you.
Yeah, thank you.
Congratulations.
I think that what sealed the deal for me really was that email that I sent that day after she told me no.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And
And-
said,
So why 7 weeks later did the person they hired not work out, or you don't know?
I don't know, and I'm dying to find
Don't care.
out. So I will find out one of these days. I just have to be delicate about asking.
Yeah.
So, oh, and the funny part is my hiring manager, I'm not even going to meet till November because she's on maternity leave now. She's literally having a baby in half an hour.
Wow.
So,
Good. Well, Dia and Carolyn, congratulations. Praise God. We're so excited for you.
Yeah.
That's really great. Really encouraging. All right. Well, Terry and Carol, you're it. So if one of you wants to open your mic, you've got the floor. We've got time and we are all yours to help you with your search. So what kind of questions do you have?
I don't actually, it's the waiting game for me, and it's sometimes causing me angst, and other time trying to be calm and patient.
So what can we help you with in that regard?
The position of the first position applied is actually a contracting position, and I almost don't like it that my name is treated like a commodity and it's being passed around from one because it's part of a SOAR contract, SOAR, and one firm is having, I guess, in a recompete clause that my name is being passed around from one firm to another.
Yeah, I'm actually not in the government contracting world, and although Tenny, I don't know if you have any thoughts on this, because you do a little bit of GovCon now, or is it just federal government?
I do a little bit of the federal contracting because I was in HR and federal contracting. What do you mean your name is just being passed around? You were talking about it's being passed around to different companies, right?
Yes.
Okay.
And they're asking me whether I want to consider going with them.
My only guess on that is maybe because it's a prime situation where one company is the prime on a contract and the other companies may be subs. And it may be just that they have a need on a contract and they're just trying to figure out which company probably has the revenue to support the position would be my only guess. I can imagine that's probably reflecting probably a little bit disheartening on your part, but to think that you're just being passed around as a commodity. But I guess I would try to frame that as they see you as a skill set. They see you as somebody who can produce for them. But at the end of the day, you're in high demand, and that can't be a bad thing when you're searching. Your skill set is obviously a high valued commodity that they're trying to figure out where to put. So I would still think that that's a very positive thing.
Trying to figure out the best fit. They see your skills. Where's the best fit within this overall contract? There's lots of pieces to it. You could go here, you could go here. You know, they're, as Tenny's saying, they're seeing, you know, skills and experience, and where's the best fit? Where can we get the biggest return on our investment by putting Terry in this particular position?
Does that help, Terry?
Yes, yes.
Good. Good. Anything else, Terry, on your plate that we can advise you on?
I was also advised by another support group that Carolyn is in this to not totally rush the hiring manager for position number 2, but at the same time also reach out and connect post interview.
What do you mean by not rush them?
Well, it's been 7 days, I guess, after the final interview.
Mhm.
And the hiring manager, no, the recruiters there were considerate enough to rush me through the interview, all 5 rounds,
Right.
because I told them about company A.
Mhm.
But after the final interview, I thought I would have heard something within a couple of days.
Is this company B?
Yes, company B.
Okay.
Mhm.
Well, sometimes it's a hurry up and wait process especially at the end. They push, 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 and all of a sudden, okay, wait, now we have to make a decision. We got to get signatures. We got to do all these different things. So that actually can take some time for sure. So a week is actually not a long time. You'd think it would be, but it's not, because there's a lot of back end for them to do.
But they haven't asked for references yet, so.
Well, you never know. That said, even, I'm not saying to rush them, but, well, let me ask you, so company A, where do you stand with them?
They gave me an offer, verbal and email offer letter,
Oh,
but nothing, not even a letter, but no concrete written, nothing written.
and is company B your first choice?
Yes and no, but I would like to see everything on paper first, just compare it to.
So have you told company B that you have an offer from A?
Yes,
Oh, okay. All right. So they know. When did you tell B about A?
from the beginning, the 2 recruiters, and Monday, the hiring manager, in email. So if he's out on vacation, then
Yeah,
he might not check.
sure. Well, look, I would probably wait until, mid next week, because of course, Labor Day, it's vacation time and all of that. So I would wait till mid next week and then just do one more follow-up with B and say, just ask about status and say, look, I have this offer from another company, and I'm going to be needing to make a decision soon. And, so wanted to see where I stand. It's perfectly legitimate. And it's good for them too, right? Because if they lose you to company A, I mean, that's not good for them. So it's important. And of course, follow up with
Request company A to generate an offer letter.
Exactly. See where they are with the letter, for sure. Yeah. Well, it sounds like you're in a good spot, Terry.
If I can offer something about the reference question, Terry, that might help. I never gave my new employer any references either. And after I accepted their offer, they had a third-party company called HireRight that did all of that checking to do, like, I guess, a criminal check and a credit check, or I don't know what all they do, but that's where they reached out to my references to see if I really had them or not.
That was
And
after you accepted the offer?
The references let me know after I accepted the offer.
It's very interesting.
And I thought that was interesting because I had never encountered that before.
It's unusual, very unusual.
And I asked, is it? Okay, well, I mean, they're the HR people, right? I don't know.
Exactly. That's very, yeah.
Yeah.
But I did ask the recruiter, I said, wait, so after I accept this offer, you could disqualify me for something that this company finds? And she said, that doesn't happen.
Well,
So
I mean, a contingent offer, I understand. Sometimes people will do that. They'll say contingent on references.
Yeah.
That happens. But a real offer, a real acceptance, wow.
I thought it was unusual, but I played along nicely.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, different strokes for different folks, I guess.
But they have to ask you for their references, right?
Well, I dealt with this third party and I gave the third party on their form my references and all that.
Thank you.
Sure.
All right, Carol, you're up.
Hi, everyone. Can you hear me okay?
Yep.
Okay, great. I'm kind of new to this process. My story is that my company is beginning to wind down. And So there's some uncertainty about job security. And so I've been thinking about looking for a job, and not necessarily in the DC area. I'm looking more in the North Carolina area, closer to family. And so so I've got some different things that I'm wondering how to handle. One, of course, is most of my contacts are in my current area. Feels a little challenging to me. And I'm currently working in accounting. My title is accounting manager, but I probably do more of the work of a senior accountant, not as much management. So just kind of how to handle that aspect of my resume. There's a couple that I can start with. If you want to take them one at a time, or I can list them. I don't know what's
You can
best.
just, yeah, you can do one at a time. That's fine.
Okay, so I guess in the past, I've gotten jobs through recruiters, or kind of an informational interview type situation. So I've been in my current position for over 10 years. So just breaking back into a job market that's a lot different than it was 10 years ago.
Mhm.
What would you suggest for wanting to get into a new city, new location?
So more specifically, can you remind us again? So you're living in, is it North Carolina?
No, I'm living in the DC area,
Oh, but you're
but
moving.
I'd like to move into like the Charlotte area.
Oh, I see. So you want to move there. So you're not going to move and then go look for a job. You want to get the job and then you want to move.
That would be preferable. Yeah, that would be preferable.
One other quick question, Carol. You're still employed. You say your company's
Yes.
winding down. Do you have any, what's your time frame? In other words, do you know you'll be employed for another 3 months, 6 months? Or you don't know? It could happen any day.
That's a little complicated. There's been some rumblings, kind of with all the vaccine stuff and mandates, and I'm one of those people that can't get a vaccine. And so there's a little bit of an issue with that, whether they are going to accept my my exemption, or whether they'll just kind of phase me out because of that status. And I would say it probably could last another year even, but there's just a lot of uncertainty about how that's going to play out. And I feel like looking for a job takes more than just a couple months. So I would like to be more proactive about that.
Well, the reason I asked the time frame is from from any job seeker standpoint. If you have an income coming in, while it still takes a lot of time and effort to be in the job search, it's always better to have some income coming in than no income coming in.
Right.
And you're always in kind of a better position if you can, find a new job, before you've left your old job. So, in terms of moving to North Carolina, the first thing I would suggest you do is start to talk to all of the people you know in DC, and do they know anybody in North Carolina? Can they introduce you to somebody?
Yeah, my family lives there.
Okay.
And I don't know, they have some connections, but that's just one person.
So Carol, because you're relocating, you are in a different, I would say almost an advantageous spot when it comes to networking. I'll tell you why. Have you ever, let me make a parallel situation, right? Have you ever gone to visit a new city, a country or whatever, and you have friends there, let's say you're going to California and you have some old friends, okay?
Mhm.
When you go there, because you're going to be there for a set amount of time and you're from outside the area, they will likely adjust their schedules to help you or to visit with you. Okay.
Mhm.
Okay. You've seen that happen, right? Whereas if you lived in the same city, oh, let's meet next month, right? But suddenly you're from outside, you come in and people will
Mhm.
make the time. Okay. So it's a little bit like that. When you go and you try to network with people you don't know, okay, strangers, in a new city, because you're coming from outside the area, because you're relocating, sometimes people will be a little bit more, I don't know, sympathetic is maybe a good word to you, and be willing to help you because that's your need. Your need is the reload. So to speak, you're trying to get to know people. So you're migrating, right, to the, or immigrating, to that area. So one of the things you can do is go into LinkedIn. In fact, we could just do that right now. I'll do a fast training here. Okay. And you would want to start looking for people who do what you do. Now, why would I say who do what you do? Because those are actually some of your best networking buddies. You don't even realize that, but they are, because they're not competition. These are people who themselves hear about opportunities. I mean, in other words, they get tapped by recruiters all the time saying, hey, do you know somebody? Do you know an accountant? Do you know somebody who's a good fit for this job? You want them to say, well, it's not right for me, but it's right for Carol. Okay. So it's really, really good to network with people who are in your same profession. So did you say you're an accounting manager?
Yes.
So I put an accounting manager in the search bar. I'm going to hit the people tab. And then I'm going to hit the all filters tab. Oh, excuse, I don't even need to hit all filters. Sorry. I can go right here to location. All these three buttons, connections, locations, and current company, are in the all filters, but there's a shortcut here. And I'm just going to put in Charlotte. Or sorry, not North Carolina, right? Okay. So here we go. Here are a bunch of people: accounting manager, accounting manager, accounting manager, accounting manager. All these different folks, all right, are there. And more pages and more pages, okay? And what you could do is you could start to reach out to these folks. Now, I will tell you, like in this case, these folks, most of these folks to me are third level. There's only a couple here I see that are second. When it's a second level, it's a little easier because you can open up the person and you can see who your mutual connections are. And you can either drop a name, right? So if you go to, so you're trying to connect with Michael and you can say, Michael, you and I are connected through, Rob Jenkins. You can do that. And you can just hit the connect button and you can send him a note. You got characters to do that. Hi, Michael, you and I are mutually connected on LinkedIn through Rob Jenkins. I'm relocating to the Charlotte area from DC, and I'm looking to expand my network with fellow accountants. Would you be open to connecting and potentially having a Zoom coffee? And because you're doing it, because that's your reason, because you're expanding your network in the city, he might be more sympathetic as a reason to say, hey, sure, happy to help acclimate you here to DC because you're an outsider. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And Carol, let me just butt in here. And as you say, Shira says Michael might be more sympathetic. Some people won't be sympathetic, but I mean, you can see there's lots of people here.
Right.
If you just spend some time and you reach out to 10 or 15 of these people, I can almost guarantee you some people, it's like somebody new moves into the neighborhood. It's your neighbor next door. Can I help you? Do you need anything? Did they ask you where the post office is? And people naturally want to help somebody like that, which is, again, something Shira already said. So this would be a great way to start networking with people in your profession in the area that you want to get to.
Yeah, that's a good idea. I didn't know that was available. So great.
Yeah. So you had another question?
Kind of helps me with my second question. I'm not sure exactly which type of work I'd like to do, whether it's accounting manager or senior accountant. So I can look and see what's there.
Well, that would be another, as you connect with some of these people, And, you know, when they're in the accounting field in North Carolina, you know, ask them those types of questions. You know, I'm considering this, you're considering this, what, you know, what do you know about positions for accounting managers or senior accountants in the, you know, in the Charlotte area?
Okay.
That, and they may say, geez, I haven't really been in touch. I don't really know much. So you'll get that answer. But at the other end, you know, to Shira's point earlier, oh, I know, I just heard about a job for this particular position.
Okay. Great. Do you recommend a networking avenue versus trying to find a recruiter in the area that I'd like to live in?
All of the above. Now, with
Okay.
accountants, the thing with accounting, of all the professions, right, there tend to be a lot of recruiters for accounting and in tech. IT and accounting are the two where there are just recruiters on every street corner. And you actually can reach out proactively to a recruiter and get on their radar. Most other professions, you can't do that because it's just too niche. But for the youth, you can. So I would definitely go and start searching around. In fact, you could do the same thing. You can go to LinkedIn and you could say finance recruiter. And what'll happen is you're going to get two kinds of recruiters. You're going to get what's called corporate recruiters. So here's a recruiter, Holly. She works for Walt Disney. All right, that's a corporate recruiter. She's just recruiting internal. Not that that's a bad thing, because she, you know, if you're interested in Walt Disney, right, you can get on her radar. But then here's an executive recruiter, accounting finance at Talent Bridge. Well, that's obviously a third-party search firm. I will tell you that 99% of recruiters will accept your invitation. Okay, just because they want you in their database. So you could literally just do this, finance recruiter or accounting recruiter, same, and go connect. Just send out invitations, right? So most likely they will accept your invitation. You know, Kelly Services, that's a third party, right? Career partners, whatever. But then you can go double back once they hopefully accept your invitation. Then you can send them a note. You can send them you can attach your resume in there. You can mention what you're looking for. You could ask for an informational interview, especially with the third party ones. Oftentimes they will meet you because they're constantly looking for good talent. And there's some recruiters like myself. I'm a general, well, generals. I don't specialize in I'm a recruiter and a career coach, by the way. I don't know if you know my background, but on my recruiter hat, I specialize in an industry, the association industry. And I'm a generalist within that industry. So I don't have the time to meet with all kinds of random candidates because, right, I'm busy. Whereas if I were just specializing in a career vertical, like again, accounting, I would want to constantly be interviewing people so that, because I'm going to be getting a lot of accounting searches, right? So I want to kind of know who's in my database, and not just as a resume, but really meeting people. So it's very likely that they will be at least consider meeting with you. Now, not everyone, but so.
Yeah, the one other thing to keep in mind, Carol, as you do this is, and I don't know the status, you know, have you updated your resume? Have you looked at your LinkedIn profile? I mean, don't make sure those things are in pretty good shape before you start to reach out. So when they do connect with you, they see the best possible you at this point in time.
My LinkedIn network is very sparse at this point because I haven't used it. I've never used it, you know, before. So that's, I guess, another question, how to expand that network so that it looks better.
Well, this is one way. The recruiters is an easy way. The other easy way, I keep stopping my share, but the other easy way is to just hit the My Network tab. And then what'll happen is you're going to see all these different possibilities. So they categorize them. So they categorize my, you know, where I went to school, people in similar roles. Here you go, right? People in the DC area, people in staffing and recruiting, blah, 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 right? So you would go through and you can just start connecting with folks. Now, start with the people you know, okay? But even so, you could just, especially the people who are in the same field as you, you can start making connections. I will warn you though, if you're on this page and you hit the connect button from here, it's going to send out a generic invitation. Okay.
Okay.
So if you're on this page, click on the person's name,
Oh, person.
then you click on connect, then you can add a note.
Yeah.
Okay, that's just a little trick. So that's a really good way to do it.
Carolyn,
Just
so-
really prompt you.
Start with the person so that you can add the message. That's important.
And so
And-
Carol, one of the etiquette things is never, ever on LinkedIn send a connect request without some sort of a polite little note to accompany it.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
And in fact, if there's something in the profile or something that, you have in common, anything that, provides some communication to the person that, you're genuine, you're sincere, as opposed to I just click the button and I want to connect with you and add you to my 500 connections.
Okay.
And may I add, please, that join groups, affinity groups, like, accounting groups or whatever. I've joined I'm an event planner. I found a senior event planners Facebook group that I joined. And I've gotten to meet people through that. That's been amazing connections for me. So I'm sure there are going to be plenty of groups in your field, and start connecting with the people you meet there too.
It's actually a really good point, Dia. So, they say there's an association for everything. Well, there's definitely an association for accountants. Now it's a CPA group, okay, but even so, I'm not sure if you're a CPA, but there's a national organization called AICPA, the American Institute. There are chapters all over the place. Like, for example, here in the DC area, there's the GW chapter, okay? So I don't know what they have in Charlotte, if they have anything, but that might be a good place to go as well. And also, when you're networking with other accountants, ask them, are there any networking groups that you belong to?
Okay.
And even on LinkedIn, you can do, you can look for groups.
Okay.
So you can just say accounting here, and then click on groups.
Oh, okay.
Okay, there's a whole bunch of them here. I mean, they're national, but
What would you say about, so I've kind of been in a niche market as far as the type of accounting that I do. I do some specialized work with private foundations and kind of family office work. And so that's kind of a hard group to kind of look for. I guess I could try to put it in that search window. And I'd like to try to transition into a little bit more meaningful work. I like foundations, nonprofit. That would be an interest for me. Do you have any suggestions?
well, yeah. So
About
there's
that?
an association called the Council on Foundations.
Oh, okay.
That's one place you could look. The other thing is, you could say, foundation, right? Just put the word foundation in. Not filter. I don't want filters. Sorry. Hold on. Foundation. And then you could go to, excuse me, go to people. And then go to location. Happen here, see, so you're going to have people who, random people, they're not necessarily accounting, but they work for foundations. So Equitable Foundation in Charlotte, right? Foundation Nova Health Charlotte, right? Adeco US Foundation Charlotte. So here is actually a marketing list for you. So you would open up this person's profile, and here you go, and you can just click on the logo or just click on the name of the company, foundation rather, and you can. I don't know why this is, wait a second, hold on. Okay, I guess it is, it is, all right. Anyway, I guess it's a company that has a foundation with it. And then you would just click on right here, it says employees. You can just, it is hyperlinked, it doesn't look like it is, but you can click on employees. And then you can go in and you can see, you can actually then go back to the search bar. And you can just put in accounting. And here we go. So
Oh,
manager
wow, that's great.
accounting at Equitable. Okay, so
Mhm.
you just have to kind of go through some steps.
Okay, that's good. Yeah, I've kind of been spinning my wheels as far as trying to find jobs and, just how to go about doing that. There's a lot of functionality in LinkedIn, but I'm just not real familiar with how that works. So that's very helpful.
You're welcome. And by the way, in case you're interested in the LinkedIn training, I have on my website, I do a regular training on advanced LinkedIn for a job seeker group locally. And I have one of those trainings on my website. It's a couple hours long.
Okay.
So if you go to purposefulhire.com, and then go to the job seeker tab, and then go to Shira Speaks to Job Seekers. Down here is a whole bunch of videos. And this one is called Using LinkedIn Like a Pro.
Oh, perfect. Thank you so much.
It talks about branding yourself on LinkedIn, and it talks about how to search on LinkedIn. It's pretty robust.
Great.
All right.
Well, I'm off today, actually.
I
It's,
agree.
usually I'm working, but we have the day off. So I thought I'd jump on today.
I'm glad you did.
I definitely agree to that, Carol.
Well,
Carol,
Your suggestions are helpful.
Carol, to help you with your LinkedIn connections, when I started my, ramp up to relaunch my career, I had a measly like 300 contacts or something. And LinkedIn stops counting them if you get to 500.
Mhm.
So the day I got to 501 was a big celebration for me. And how I did it was going to meetings like this and then writing down people's names,
Mhm.
looking at their profiles and following up afterwards. So if you go to an AICPA meeting in North Carolina, take note of those people's names and then connect with them afterwards. And then
Mhm.
magically your network will grow.
Mhm.
And you'll be connected with people in the Charlotte area that, could be at a company that you find an opportunity at. So it really helps, doing that legwork, if you will.
Mhm. I'm embarrassed to say my contacts are probably under 10, so I've got a long way to go.
But you can do it. It's not hard.
Everybody starts somewhere, Carol.
Thank you. Just one other question, and then I'll let somebody else go. Like for references, how do I navigate that in a current job situation while I'm looking for another one without necessarily raising a lot of red flags with my current employer?
Well, it's traditional not to give your current employer as a reference. So that overcomes that. The only time you'd ever give that person, let's say your current supervisor, is at the very end if you're about to get an offer, or maybe you get a contingent offer. Then sometimes the employer will say, hey, can we talk to your current employer? But employers understand that it's confidential. So does that help, or was there something?
Yeah. No, that does help. Okay, I'll let someone else talk. Thank you so much for your suggestions.
You're welcome. Marvin, do you want to ask some questions?
Yes. Well, actually, I got a praise report.
Oh, good.
Yes. I interviewed on yesterday, and the interview went well. It was with the safety director and the HR director. And they asked me, what would it take to get you over here, Marvin? So I says, what I like to do is to see what you offering, right? So they told me they would get back with me no later than Wednesday with an offer, and then I can see if it works for me. I sent them a thank you letter yesterday, email, and they both sent back saying how great it was. Can't wait to talk to you on Wednesday and looking forward to working with you. So, I mean, those are some encouraging words to me.
There you go.
I mean, the interview really went well. We talked, they used words, they were talking in phrases like, so when you come on, this is what you will be doing, and this is what So it wasn't like, it's 5 more people or 5 more interviews, I walked out of there. We got together at 5 minutes to 10, and I didn't leave out of there until 5 after 11. And they just talked and wanted me, to come out with some ideas. So I was telling them some things. Now, the director of HR did ask for a sample writing, but he didn't ask, he didn't say like of what. So what should I give them?
Ask them what kind of writing sample they want, like be specific. Because
Okay,
you don't want to, they say writing sample, but they don't often know what they mean. So you got to push it a little bit.
okay,
You
okay,
know, is it just, I don't know, sample correspondence? Is it a sample report? Is it what?
okay.
And
great.
because also it's not just the what, but it's also the style that they're looking for, because we all have
Okay.
different writing styles depending on the situation.
Right,
Specific, can it, you know, tell what kind of writing sample, how long, you know.
okay, okay. But yeah, it feels good. I want to see what their offer is. And now, how do I come back with a counter? And I was talking with my wife, and she and I have been just kind of looking at the market. And I know that DC government just did a 2% increase on salary. So I'm looking at what's like at the end of where I'm at.
Mhm.
And I like that number. So how do I come up with a counter? Like, okay, where I want to be. I know where we want to be.
Mhm.
And what if they are like really, really lower than where we want to be?
So they haven't talked about salary at all with you.
No, ma'am.
Okay. This is actually the perfect time to bring it up. Perfect time, because they're already giving you buying signs.
Yes.
So this is the time where you would call I'd have a call with whoever your point of contact is, okay? And ask you, A, what kind of writing sample? And B, while I have you, you can say, you know, it sounds like you're in decision-making mode. And so I'd like to discuss compensation, if that's okay, just to help you make a good decision. You say to them, help you make a good hiring decision. I'd like to share with you my compensation expectations. Would that be okay? They're not going to say no.
Okay. Okay.
And so I would go high. Whatever that top end is, look at the salary bands. That's the good thing about the government, right? You can see the bands. Is that right?
Right.
Right. So say I'm looking for the top end of this range. Is that something that is within your, you know, is that something that you would consider? That's
Okay.
it. Start high. You can always go low.
Okay.
Start higher.
But going high, would it scare them off?
No, because they already love you.
Okay.
Yeah, they already love you. Yeah, yeah. In fact,
Okay.
I just wrote a newsletter this week. I just sent it out. I guess you don't get it. I literally said that very thing. You don't ever worry about. It's really funny. So let me bring up my newsletter. It's
Yes, I want to see that.
yeah. Give me 1 second here.
How you doing, Vern?
All right, Marvin, how you doing?
Good,
Great.
good.
Sounds like
Thank you.
you're getting close here.
Yes, sir. Yes,
Yeah.
sir.
All right, so let me bring this up. So I said, it's called Negotiate Your Salary Like a Pro. And at the end here, I give some tips.
No, I didn't get that.
Yeah. So I said, now this is, I phrased it, if you accidentally give them your low number, but that's okay, because and you haven't given them any number.
Right. No.
The point is here, it's fine to negotiate later. I said, sometimes you're caught off guard when asked about salary or feel sheepish about asking for a high number. This is correctable once the employer falls in love with you. After your second or third level interview, if you think an offer is imminent, schedule a call with the employer, don't do it via email, and tell them you'd like to revisit compensation so they can factor it into their hiring decision. Simply tell them that when you originally shared your salary expectation, now this is for people who've shared it on the low side, right? You know, you've learned the full scope of responsibilities. You feel the position is more worth like X number, presuming you feel that's true. But you can also say that you lowballed your original number. But the point is that either which way, if you go high, I said, trust me, they won't withdraw your candidacy as long as they feel they can still negotiate.
Okay.
Reach for the stars and you'll hit the moon.
Great.
Okay.
Great.
So yeah,
Yeah,
because
okay.
they already love you. Yes. Oh my gosh. Don't even worry about that at all. At all. In fact,
Okay.
what you didn't know is that you came in a little late. In the beginning, we shared that 3 of our HMMers got jobs this week. That is one of them. And Carol Hurley, who just had to bounce off, she's the second one, and Deborah Shelby is the third one.
All right.
And Carolyn was sharing this very thing, that she used this concept that we've talked about. And she went high, and she said it verbally. She said she went for mid 100s, and their number was normally like 120, 115 to 125. So there was this gap.
Mm-hmm.
She said, no, let's keep talking, right? And so at the end, they came back just under, like above their normal range, but just below what she was asking because she started high.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, definitely
Right.
go way up to the top. And then you
Okay.
can come down a little
They
bit.
can come down, okay. Because they are saying that there would be a company vehicle with a company gas card. So still go high.
They'll go high.
Okay,
Yeah.
great.
Right, because all that other stuff, don't think of that. I mean, it's a perk, right? But that's part of the job. Like they're giving you that not for your health. I mean, they're not giving that just out of the goodness of their heart. They're giving you that because obviously you're gonna be driving around.
Mm-hmm.
So they need you to have that. Okay, so don't think of that as part of your compensation package. It's not.
Okay, great. Okay, all right.
Yeah.
Well, I'm excited about that. Yes, I'm excited.
We're excited for you, Marvin.
Yes, thanks.
You got it.
I will keep you all posted.
Yeah, I was gonna say, hopefully you'll come back next week and you'll share a good
No
testimony.
doubt. So if they get in touch, because they did tell me, if you don't hear from us on Wednesday, call us. Yeah, call us, Marvin. We're gonna be working on it. So they said, so what do you think? And I mean, they were kind of talking amongst themselves at the table. And they says, well, we'll get together and we'll start putting, and the HR guy says, well, I'll start putting everything together now. And I should have that for you definitely by the first part of the week. Okay. And so they said, definitely, if you don't hear from us, one of us will call you on Wednesday. And if you don't hear from us, you call us. So I was like, wow, we are close. We are close.
Sure.
Now, it's a lot of work.
Well,
It's a lot of responsibility because I didn't know that they had that many gaps as far as training gaps, and they, their biggest thing is that people are not retaining the training that they're being given, and so there's a lot of cleanup work there. So because of the work, I'm saying, okay, I need to be high. Yeah.
well,
Yep, that's what you say. That's sorry, Brian. That's actually part of your case. You say this is a huge role, and as a result, I believe that it's worth this top end of this range. Is that something?
Okay.
Yeah.
Great.
Marvin, connect with me offline, and I can talk to you about
Awesome.
people not retaining training, and
Awesome.
I know why, and I can give you some. You may know this stuff already, but let me share what I know.
Yes.
Maybe that can help you.
I appreciate that. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Yes.
Great.
And if you got my email or not?
No, I don't. I was going to ask you, do you want me to connect on?
I'll put it in the chat.
Okay. Thank you so much.
All right. Good. Well,
I love this group.
Good deal. Scott, you never actually ask anything. You have the floor now if you'd like. Is there something you'd like to ask the group? You want to be quiet? Okay. All right. Well, our Smartless group, we keep shrinking for very good reasons. So feel free, to keep sharing, the group with other people. We'd love to help as many people as possible.
How's Sonia?
I don't know where Sonia is today. I was wondering.
Okay.
I don't know where she is. It could be because of Labor Day. I don't know.
Yeah.
All right. So as per usual, for those who want to stay on for a short prayer call, you're certainly welcome to do that. Otherwise, the rest of you, we will hopefully see you next week. And again, spread the word.
All right.
All right. Have a blessed day, everyone.